Between 1965 and 1968, heroin killed over 900 teenagers in Harlem. But in 1979, $1 million appeared out of nowhere and built 3 schools that saved thousands more. The money came from 2 dead gangsters who'd planned it 17 years earlier. This is how they did it. January 15th, 1962. Naples, Italy. Lucky Luciano sat by the window, dying. Heart disease. 6 months left, maybe less. He was 64, 15 years exiled from America. The doctors said no treatment would help, just morphine and time to arrange his final move. A knock. 3 times. Pause. 2 times. Avanti. Heinrich Meyer entered, Swiss lawyer, gray suit, leather briefcase. Mr. Luciano, I brought the documents. Luciano leaned forward, ignoring chest pain. Read the conditions. Meyer adjusted his glasses. $1 million, Credit Suisse Geneva, to be released to Harlem Community Trust only when: first, no major crime figure controls Harlem. This includes successors to Ellsworth Johnson, drug traffickers, or mafia representatives. Second, funds must be used for schools, clinics, youth centers, libraries. 7 community leaders will administer. Third, if conditions aren't met by 1982, funds revert to Vatican charity. Luciano smiled coldly. So Harlem gets money only when the gangsters are gone, including Mr. Johnson, especially Bumpy. I love him like a brother, but he won't retire. The only way Harlem gets clean is if he's gone. After him will come wolves, young, flashy, greedy. They'll flood Harlem with heroin. But they won't last. Prison, bullets, stupidity. When the last one falls, when Harlem has no boss, that's when you give them the money. What if Mr. Johnson refuses? Luciano looked at the bay. Then I was wrong about him, but I'm not wrong. When he understands what I'm asking, he'll choose right. Meyer gathered papers. Luciano pulled an envelope from his blanket. Per Bumpy. When you tell him, give him this. They shook hands. You really think this will work? Meyer asked. I'm dead in months. This is my last card. Let's see if Bumpy's smart enough to play it. Meyer left. Luciano died 3 weeks later, January 26, 1962. Heart attack at Naples airport. No one mentioned Harlem. No one knew about the $1 million. Not yet. November 16, 1963. Small's Paradise. 11:38 p.m. Ellsworth, Bumpy. Johnson sat in the back booth, home after 11 years in Alcatraz. 57 now. Gray hair, deep lines, stiff back, but steady hands and sharp mind. Willie Three-Finger Johnson sat across, pouring bourbon. Place hasn't changed, Bumpy said. Everything changed, boss. Heroin, everywhere, every block. Kids selling, kids dying. Who's running it? Nobody and everybody. 50 small operators, all fighting. Mafia Italians supply most. Structure collapsed when you left. Bumpy sipped bourbon. Then we rebuild. They talked for an hour. Plans formed. By the time the bottle emptied, Harlem's underworld was reorganizing around one old man who refused to retire. Outside, November cold bit. One more thing, boss, Willie said. European lawyer came around, Swiss maybe, asked about you and Lucky Luciano, about money. Bumpy stopped. Luciano's dead. I know, but this lawyer asked about arrangements, about Harlem. Bumpy thought back to 1946, Last time he'd seen Luciano. "Harlem's yours, Bump. Keep it clean, keep it profitable." "I don't know anything," Bumpy lied. But he wondered. 1963 to 1965. Bumpy rebuilt slowly. Not like the old days, but enough. 3 rules: no selling near schools, no shooting in daylight, keep cops manageable. By late 1965, Harlem had structure again, but heroin kept coming, and with it, a new generation who didn't care about rules. Early 1966. Bumpy's first symptoms: a cough that wouldn't quit, chest tightness climbing stairs. Willie noticed. "Boss, you okay?" "I'm fine." But he wasn't, and he knew it. March 9th, 1966. Red Rooster Restaurant. 1:15 p.m. Nicky Barnes. 33, sharp suits, new Cadillac every 6 months, heroin everywhere. By 1966, he had a crew, Italian connections, zero respect for Bumpy's rules. Time to meet him. Bumpy walked into the Red Rooster, Willie behind. Barnes sat at the back table with 3 crew members and an Italian in a tracksuit. He stood, extending a hand. "Mr. Johnson, honor to meet you." Bumpy shook, too confident. "Mind if I sit?" "Please." Bumpy sat. "You're selling in front of PS 125, near the playground." Barnes didn't deny it. "It's a free country. Harlem has rules." "Had rules, past tense." Barnes leaned forward. "Mr. Johnson, I respect what you built, but that was then. This is now. Too much money to worry about playgrounds." "So you sell to kids?" "I sell to whoever's buying. If kids buy, that's on their parents." Bumpy felt anger rise, pushed it down. You know what happens when you flood a neighborhood with heroin? Community falls apart. Cops come harder. FBI gets involved. Everybody loses. Barnes laughed. "Cops are bought. FBI doesn't care. Community doesn't pay my bills. This does." He tapped the table. 50 grand a week. That's power. That's temporary. Everything's temporary. While I'm here, I'm getting mine. Bumpy stood. "One warning. You keep pushing near schools, churches, places that matter. You and I have a problem." Barnes stood, smiling. "Mr. Johnson, you're 60, just out of prison. You don't have an army. I have 50 men, the Italians, money, and guns. So here's my warning. Stay out of my way. Don't pretend you can stop me, because you can't." Bumpy looked into Barnes's eyes. Youth, arrogance, greed, zero understanding of consequences. "We'll see." He left. Outside, Willie asked, "You want me to handle him?" "No, he'll handle himself." But Bumpy didn't believe it. His chest hurt worse going down the stairs. April 14th, 1966. St. Augustine Church. Marcus Williams, 14, heroin overdose. Bumpy sat in the back, watching the mother's shoulders shake. The Reverend spoke about God's plan, words that meant nothing. After, Bumpy approached her. "Mr. Johnson," she whispered. "I'm sorry. Your son didn't deserve this. He was good, just made a mistake. One time, they said it was safe." "Who sold it?" "Some boy, maybe 16 himself." "What did police say?" "Police?" She almost laughed. "Said accidental overdose, case closed, no arrest, just another dead black boy in Harlem." Bumpy squeezed her hand. "I'll find who supplied it." Outside, Willie waited. "Barnes's crew," Willie said. "Pure stuff, no cut. 4th death this month." Bumpy looked back at the church, at the mother with her daughter. "Set up a meeting. I want the Italians, not Barnes. his suppliers. May 3rd, 1966, the Teresa Hotel. 2 weeks after Heinrich Meyer arrived in Harlem, Bumpy heard about him. Swiss lawyer, camera, and notebook asking about Luciano and Bumpy. 9:47 p.m. Room 512. Bumpy knocked. Meyer opened, unsurprised. "Mr. Johnson, I wondered when you'd come." Bumpy entered. Neat room, papers on desk. No weapon visible. "I'm Heinrich Meyer, attorney, Zurich. I represent Charles Luciano's estate, specifically one asset concerning you and Harlem." "Luciano left me nothing. On the contrary, he left you a choice." Meyer opened his briefcase. In January 1962, Mr. Luciano deposited $1 million into a Swiss trust, designated for Harlem, schools, clinics, youth programs, libraries. Bumpy's face stayed calm. Luciano was broke when he died. He appeared broke. Reality, he'd been saving since the 1940s, offshore accounts, for this purpose. Why? Because he loved Harlem and knew what would happen after you were gone. Silence. The money releases under specific conditions. I'm not authorized to tell you all of them yet, but criteria must be met. Right now, they're not. My job is to observe Harlem and determine when, if ever, the trust can be released. What are the conditions? I can't say fully, not yet, but the money is meant to help Harlem heal, not enrich criminals. Mr. Luciano was specific. So he set this up knowing I couldn't touch it. He set this up believing you'd understand its purpose. When do I learn the full conditions? When I determine you need to know, Mr. Luciano gave me discretion. And if I don't like your discretion, Meyer smiled slightly. Then the money sits in Zurich forever. Your choice. Bumpy left, in the hallway, breathing slowly. $1 million. Luciano's last move, and he didn't even know the rules yet. The next morning, Willie found Bumpy at Small's, looking like he hadn't slept. Luciano left money for Harlem, $1 million. But there are conditions. This Swiss won't tell me what. So what do? We wait and watch him watch us. And Barnes? Bumpy rubbed his temples, chest aching. Barnes is still the problem. Maybe the money's connected. Maybe not. Either way, I need to deal with him. May through June 1966. Meyer walked Harlem daily. He visited schools, churches, photographed buildings, took notes, always observing. June 12th, 1966. Abyssinian Baptist Church. Meyer approached Reverend Isaiah Thompson after service. "Reverend, may I ask questions? I'm conducting a community assessment." Thompson studied him. "What kind of assessment?" "Quality of life, youth safety, drug impact." "You with the city?" "Private organization, European funding." Thompson sighed. "All right, ask. How many children in your congregation have been affected by heroin?" "Affected how? Using, or family members using?" "Either," Thompson thought. "Maybe 70 families out of 300. It's everywhere, Mr. Meyer. Parents, older siblings, cousins. It's killing us," Meyer wrote. "Has it gotten worse recently?" "Past 2 years, dramatically. New suppliers, purer product, more deaths. We buried 4 teenagers last month alone." "Do you know who supplies it?" "Everyone knows. Nicky Barnes and his crew. Police do nothing, either bought or scared." Meyer wrote more. If resources became available, say for youth programs, addiction treatment, would the community support it? Resources from where? Hypothetically. Thompson leaned forward. Mr. Meyer, if someone wanted to actually help Harlem instead of study it, yes, we'd support it. But I've seen dozens of studies. Never see the help. Meyer closed his notebook. This one might be different. He walked back to his hotel, hand shaking slightly as he wrote in his journal that night. 70 families, out of 300. He'd seen poverty in Zurich, clean, organized Swiss poverty. But this? Children overdosing, parents in prison, hope dying on street corners. He wrote one sentence. Mr. Luciano, I understand now why you did this. June 18th, 1966. P.S. 125 Elementary. Meyer met Principal Margaret Davis in her office. How many students have you lost to drugs? Davis pulled out a folder. Since 1964, 7 students dropped out due to addiction. 12 more have parents in prison for drug charges. 18 have lost siblings. What would help most? After-school programs, somewhere safe. Right now, kids go home to empty apartments, parents working 2 jobs or using. Streets raise them, streets kill them. Meyer wrote, if funding existed for a youth center, who would run it? I would. Reverend Thompson would. Dr. Carter at the hospital, anyone who gives a damn. But funding never exists. Not for Harlem. It might, soon. Davis looked skeptical. I'll believe it when I see it. June 25th, 1966. Meyer's hotel room. Late night. Meyer placed a call to Credit Suisse, Geneva. Status report, the bank officer said. Conditions not met. Crime figure Ellsworth Johnson still active, though aging and ill. New figure, Leroy Barnes, rising rapidly. Community deteriorating. Estimate 2 to 3 years minimum before conditions could be satisfied. Understood. Continue observation. Meyer hung up, wrote in his journal. Harlem dying, Barnes accelerating the death, Johnson trying to fight but too old, too sick. Luciano's prediction accurate. Wolves after the king. Question. Will Johnson understand the choice in time? July 1966. Nicky Barnes noticed Meyer. Who's the Swiss? Barnes asked Kevin, his lieutenant. Been here 2 months, asking questions. Watches you, watches Bumpy, takes notes. Find out what he wants. Kevin tried. Meyer refused to talk. Barnes sent 2 men to encourage conversation. Meyer showed them a letter from Credit Suisse legal department. Any harm to Heinrich Meyer triggers automatic fund transfer to Vatican. Good luck explaining that to your bosses. The men left. Barnes was curious now. What money? How much? July 15th, 1966. Reverend Thompson's church office. Barnes stood in the office, door closed. Reverend, I heard you talk to a European man, Swiss lawyer. Thompson's hands gripped his desk. He was conducting a survey. What did you tell him? Nothing that isn't public knowledge. Drug deaths, community suffering. Barnes leaned forward. And did you mention my name? Silence. Reverend, I respect the church, but if you're helping outsiders build a case against me, we have a problem. Thompson stood, voice steady. Mr. Barnes, I'm a man of God. I don't fear you. I fear for you. What you're doing to this community, God will judge you for it. Barnes smiled coldly. Maybe, but he'll have to wait in line behind the feds. He left. Thompson locked the door behind him, hands shaking, and prayed for Harlem's soul. August the 3rd, 1966. Barnes confronts Meyer. Barnes found Meyer at a coffee shop on 125th Street. "Mr. Meyer, mind if I sit?" Meyer looked up from his newspaper. "Mr. Barnes, you know who I am. I know everyone relevant in Harlem." Barnes sat. "Why are you watching me?" "I'm watching everyone. It's my job." "What job?" "Evaluator." "For what?" "A trust, European origin, designated for Harlem's benefit." Barnes leaned forward. "How much?" "That's confidential." "Millions?" Meyer sipped his coffee, didn't answer. "I run Harlem now," Barnes said. "Bumpy's old, sick, finished. Whatever money you're evaluating, it should come to me. I'm the future." Meyer set down his cup. "Mr. Barnes, the trust is designed specifically to prevent people like you from accessing it. You're precisely the obstacle I'm monitoring." Barnes's smile vanished. "Excuse me? The money releases when crime figures no longer control Harlem. As long as you're here, conditions aren't met. You're the problem, not the solution." Silence. Barnes stood. "You're making an enemy. I'm making an evaluation. If you threaten me, you disqualify yourself further. If you harm me, the money disappears forever. Your choice." Barnes left, furious. Outside, he told Kevin, "Find out everything about that money." September 1966. Bumpy's health declined noticeably. Shortness of breath. Chest pain climbing stairs. Willie saw him clutch his side more than once. "Boss, you need a doctor." "I'm fine." "You're not fine." "Willie, I don't have time for doctors. Barnes is expanding. That Swiss lawyer's still watching. Something's happening and I need to figure it out before—" He coughed hard, couldn't catch his breath. Willie grabbed him. "Before what? Before you die?" Bumpy steadied himself. "Yeah, before that. October 14th, 1966. Barnes's warehouse raid. 3 a.m., NYPD and FBI hit a warehouse on 149th Street. Inside, 50 kilograms of heroin, $200,000 cash, 5 of Barnes's crew. Detective Morris led the raid. Anonymous tip. Perfect intelligence. Barnes heard about it at 4 a.m. "How did they know?" he shouted at Kevin. "Someone talked." "Who?" "I don't know. But boss, this is the 3rd hit in 2 months. Someone's feeding them information." Barnes threw a glass against the wall. "Find the rat." October 16th, 1966. Italian supplier pulls out. Barnes met with Vincent DiCarlo, his main Genovese connection, at a restaurant in Little Italy. "Vinny, we had a deal." DiCarlo wouldn't look at him. "Deal's off, Nicky. Feds know my name, know my roots, know my accounts. I'm out." "Who told them?" "I don't know. But someone with inside knowledge. Someone who's been around a long time." Bumpy. DiCarlo shrugged. "I'm just saying. He's the only one who'd have this kind of intel. And he's got reason to want you gone." Barnes's jaw tightened. "That old bastard. Handle it or don't. Either way, I'm out. Find another supplier." DiCarlo left. Barnes sat alone, realizing Bumpy was burning him down. February 14th, 1967. Meyer's hotel room. 11 p.m. Bumpy knocked. Meyer opened, always unsurprised. "I need to know the conditions, all of them." Meyer studied him. "You look unwell." "I'm dying, heart, maybe 6 months. Stop playing games and tell me what Luciano wanted." Meyer hesitated, then nodded. "Come in." They sat. Meyer poured scotch. Bumpy took one. The full conditions. The money releases when Harlem has no major organized crime figure in control. No boss, no kingpin, no one like you, no one like Mr. Barnes. When the power structure collapses entirely, when there's no one left to fight over territory, that's when the community can receive the funds. Bumpy absorbed this. So Luciano wanted me dead. No, he wanted you to choose. You can stay in power until you die naturally, and the money sits forever. Or you step aside, let the structure collapse. Eventually, when all the wolves have eaten each other, the money flows. Except there's Barnes. Even if I die, he's still here. Correct. Mr. Luciano predicted this would take years, possibly decades. He believed after you, there would be self-destructive criminals who'd burn themselves out. Barnes is likely the first. There will be others. They'll rise, fall, get arrested, killed. Eventually, none remain. That's when Harlem heals. So I have to die, and Barnes has to fall. Yes, and if Barnes learns about this money, he already suspects. I've seen him watching, sent men to question me. I've told them nothing, but he knows I'm here for a reason. Meyer handed Bumpy an envelope. From Mr. Luciano. He asked me to give you this when you learned the truth. Bumpy opened it. A bump. You're reading this. So Meyer told you. Yeah, I left money. Yeah, it's conditional. Yeah, I knew you'd be pissed. Here's the deal. I love you, but I love Harlem more. You're dying soon. We both know it. Heart won't last. So what do you leave behind? Another Barnes or a real shot at healing? You taught me smart gangsters fold at the right time. This is your time. Take down Barnes. Then die knowing Harlem wins. Give them the gift of your absence. Lucky. Bumpy folded the letter, put it in his pocket. He knew I was sick. He guessed. He knew your lifestyle. Bumpy stood, walked to the window, looked at Harlem's lights. If I spend my last months destroying Barnes, feeding cops, cutting his supply, turning his crew, does that count? Does that speed things up? If Mr. Barnes is arrested or killed, and you die, and no one rises to replace you, then yes, conditions could be met within a year or two. So my final job is taking out Barnes and dying. Your final job, Meyer said gently, is giving Harlem a future. Bumpy finished his scotch. I'll need information. Cops who aren't on Barnes's payroll, FBI agents who care, anyone I can feed intelligence to. I can provide that. Then do it. And Meyer, if I do this, if I burn my last months and die and the money comes through, you make sure every school that gets built has both our names on it. Me and Luciano. Not as gangsters. As men who loved Harlem more than power. Meyer nodded. I'll make sure. Bumpy left. Outside, February cold cut through. He had a death sentence. But now his death could mean something. April 17th, 1967. Dark alley, 145th Street. 11 p.m. Detective Morris leaned against the wall, smoking. Bumpy approached. You got something? Morris asked. Bumpy handed him a paper. Warehouse, 149th and Broadway. Thursday night. 50 kilos coming in. Barnes's crew. Morris looked at the address. You sure? I'm sure. You rate it. You hurt him bad. Why are you doing this? Because some kids are worth more than some gangsters. Morris pocketed the paper. If this is real, it's the biggest bust in months. It's real. And Morris, there's more coming. May 4th, 1967. FBI New York Field Office. Bumpy met Agent Callahan in a parking garage. I have names, Bumpy said. Genovese family connections, Barnes's suppliers, phone numbers, bank accounts in the Caymans. Callahan listened, took notes. Why now? Callahan asked. Because I'm old and sick and I don't want Harlem to die with me. You understand, if this gets out, Barnes will kill you. I'll be dead in 6 months anyway, heart, so let's make it count. Callahan looked at him with something like respect. All right, give me everything. Bumpy did. June through August 1967. The net tightened. 3 more raids, 2 major busts, 1 Italian supplier arrested, Barnes's operation bleeding. Barnes knew someone was leaking. Suspected Bumpy, but couldn't prove it. June 20th, 1967. Nicky's men follow Bumpy. Barnes sent 2 crew members to shadow Bumpy, see who he met, where he went. They followed him to the Theresa Hotel, watched him enter. 40 minutes later, Bumpy left. 10 minutes after that, Heinrich Meyer left. The crew reported back to Barnes. The old man's meeting with the Swiss. Barnes smiled. So they're working together. Bumpy knows about the money, and he's trying to make sure I don't get it. What do? We wait, and when Bumpy finally dies, and he will, look at him, we figure out how to get that money. August 5th, 1967. Barnes confronts Bumpy. Barnes found Bumpy at a diner on 145th Street, eating breakfast alone. Slid into the booth uninvited. Mr. Johnson. Bumpy looked up. Nicky, you've been busy. I've been eating breakfast. Funny thing, I've had 3 shipments hit, 4 locations raided, 2 suppliers quit. Every time, cops knew exactly where to look. Bumpy sipped coffee. Sounds like a rat problem. It is, and I know who the rat is. Then handle it. Barnes leaned forward. Here's what I think. You went to the cops, gave them my network, my suppliers, my roots. You're burning me because you can't compete. If I wanted you burned, you'd be ash. You're old, sick, powerless. So yeah, you went to the cops. Only move you have left. Bumpy set down his coffee. You're right. I've been feeding information. Detective Morris, FBI Agent Callahan. I gave them everything. Warehouses, Jersey supplier DeCarlo, bank account in the Caymans under your girlfriend's name. Barnes went still. You're admitting it. I am. Why? Because you're killing Harlem, and I'm done pretending you'll stop. So yeah, I'm burning you. And you can't stop me because even if you kill me, cops already have the information. You're finished either way. Barnes's jaw tightened. I could kill you right now. Go ahead. Won't save you. The case is built. 6 months, maybe less, they'll arrest you. When they do, Harlem will finally breathe. Barnes stood. You'll regret this. I'm 61 with a dying heart. I regret nothing. Barnes left the diner, hands clenched. Kevin was waiting outside. Boss, what did he say? He admitted it. Feeding the cops, burning us down. So we kill him? Barnes looked back through the diner window. Bumpy sat alone, finishing his eggs, hands shaking from exhaustion. No, Barnes said quietly. We wait. He's dying anyway. Heart. Look at him. He'll be dead in months. Then why's he doing this? Barnes lit a cigarette. Because he thinks he's saving Harlem. Old fool thinks there's a difference between us and the neighborhood. Doesn't understand. We are the neighborhood. We're what Harlem made us. He exhaled smoke. Let him die, thinking he won. When he's gone, I'll still be here. And that Swiss money? I'll figure out how to get it. But deep down, Barnes wondered, what if Bumpy was right? What if they really were killing the place that made them? He crushed the thought. Too late to turn back now. Bumpy finished his breakfast alone, hands shaking. Not from fear, from exhaustion. He was so tired. September through December 1967. Bumpy faded, barely walking a block without rest. Chest pain constant. Willie begged him to see a doctor. What for? So they tell me I'm dying and charge $200? They might help. They can't, and I don't have time. Barnes is close to figuring it out. I need to push harder. I'm already dead, Willie, just deciding what I die for. January through June 1968. The end game. Federal indictments prepared. The net closed around Barnes. Meyer visited Bumpy weekly. Barnes will be arrested within months, Meyer said in May 1968. When he is, and when you pass, conditions will be met. I can release funds within a year. How will you pick the board? I've been watching Reverend Thompson, Principal Davis, Dr. Carter, 4 others, all clean, all committed. And you'll make sure everyone knows this came from me and Luciano. I will. Your names will be remembered, not as criminals, as men who chose redemption. Bumpy smiled weakly. Redemption. Generous word. It's the accurate word. June 28th, 1968. Late night. Bumpy's apartment. Willie found Bumpy by the window, looking at Harlem's lights. Boss, you okay? I'm dying, Willie. Soon. Weeks, maybe. I can feel it. You did it, though. Barnes is going down. The money's coming. Yeah. And all it cost was me and Luciano spending our lives as criminals, then dying so the community could get clean. He laughed, thin and tired. But I'm okay with it. I just wish I could see it. The schools, the kids who won't die from overdoses. Maybe you'll see it from wherever you're going. I'm not going anywhere good, Willie, but that's all right. I played my hand. Luciano played his. Now it's Harlem's turn. They sat in silence, watching the city breathe. July 6th, 1968. Morning. Meyer stood across the street from Wells' restaurant, watching Bumpy eat breakfast through the window. The old gangster looked skeletal, hands shaking, barely able to lift his coffee. Meyer wanted to cross the street, to tell him, "You don't have to do this. There's another way." But there wasn't, and they both knew it. Meyer turned and walked away before Bumpy could see him watching. July 7th, 1968. Wells Restaurant, 125th Street, 10:22 a.m. Bumpy Johnson sat at his usual table, eating breakfast with 3 old friends. Eggs, bacon, coffee. They talked about the old days, laughed. At 10:22 a.m., Bumpy set down his fork, coughed once, reached for his chest. "Bump?" someone said. He tried to speak, couldn't. The pain was massive. He fell sideways. His friends shouted. Someone called an ambulance. Willie arrived within minutes, knelt next to him. "Boss, hang on." Bumpy's eyes focused briefly. He grabbed Willie's collar, whispered, "Tell Meyer, it's done. I'm gone. Now Barnes falls. Harlem lives." Then his eyes unfocused. Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson died at 10:29 a.m., age 62, massive heart attack on the streets of the Harlem he'd loved and sacrificed himself for. By evening, 5,000 people stood outside the funeral home. At the back, Heinrich Meyer wrote in his journal, "Condition 1 met, July 7, 1968. Ellsworth Johnson deceased." Then he returned to wait for Condition 2. 1977. Nicky Barnes arrested. Federal drug charges. Convicted 1978. Life without parole. Meyer began moving pieces. 1979. Harlem Community Trust Board. First meeting. Meyer gathered 7 people at Abyssinian Baptist. Reverend Thompson, Principal Davis, Dr. Carter, 4 other community leaders. $1 million from 1962 plus 17 years of interest now equals $2.8 million. All for Harlem. Schools, clinics, youth centers, libraries. Charles Luciano and Ellsworth Johnson left this. They chose community over power. The board voted unanimously to accept. Within a year, construction began. Luciano Johnson Youth Center, 125th Street. Harlem Community Health Clinic, Lenox Avenue. Charles and Ellsworth Library, 135th Street. Each bore a bronze plaque, built with funds from Charles Lucky. Luciano and Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, who chose community over power. 1962 to 1979. 1983, Luciano Johnson Youth Center. Opening day. A 10-year-old girl named Keisha walked in, nervous. Her older brother had overdosed 2 years ago. Her mother worked night shifts. The streets had been raising her. Inside, she found a room full of computers. A librarian, Ms. Davis, the former PS 125 principal, smiled at her. "First time here?" Keisha nodded. "Well, this place was built by 2 men who wanted kids like you to have a better shot than they did. So let's make them proud. You like computers?" Keisha spent 3 hours learning to code. She came back every day for 6 years. In 1992, Keisha graduated MIT. In 2000, she returned to Harlem and opened a tech nonprofit. When someone asked her why, she said, "Because 2 dead gangsters gave me a chance when I was 10. Now I'm giving it to the next 10-year-old. 2010. The bronze plaque, worn but readable, built with funds from Charles Lucky. Luciano, 1897 to 1962, and Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, 1905 to 1968, who chose community over power. Beneath it, someone had added in marker, "Smart gangsters know when to fold." I really want to know, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments. This story has reached readers on every continent, and I'm always amazed by how far these legends travel. Drop a comment. Share this story. Let's talk about it. Drop a like and subscribe. See you in the next one.